Bill from SitRep Podcast. Today is Team Light. It'll be just myself and Chris on the show today. Marty is out playing with pew pews, and Jim is off doing wargaming, I believe. So today we're going to talk about what makes a great war game. We'll probably review a little bit of news. I'll probably cheat a little bit and just go off our feed on our Facebook page, and we can talk about what we see. And again, we're going to talk about what makes a great war game, and we'd love to hear from you out in the audience. So get ready in 3, 2, 1.
Big Duke 6 Eagle Thrust. Put on side Warhawk. Sing it loud. Into the Romeo Foxtrot. Shall we dance?
You are listening to the SitRep Podcast, your source for everything related to historical wargaming. Whether you are looking for the latest wargaming news, reviews, painting tutorials, or playthroughs, you will hear about it right here. So grab your favorite beverage or brush and let's hit it.
All right, we are back. Welcome everybody to the show. And with me is Chris. Hello, Chris.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. And looks like our early winner of being here today is Tiger Shadow. Hey, welcome. So, all right. As we like to historically start the show, Chris, what have you been up to in the world of wargaming?
Well, nothing. I know that's a shock, but I'm getting ready to move again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Dennis has joined the show. Welcome, Dennis.
welcome.
Well, Chris, it does not shock or surprise me.
Well,
Thanks
you've
for
known that
adding
I'm moving.
content to the show. All right, guys, that was the show. All right, we'll see you next week. No,
Yep.
just kidding. So what have I been working on? Well, there will be, it was supposed to be last Wednesday, but thankfully Marty was able to do a hobby stream. But I will be doing an unboxing of the Rubicon model for the Huey. Did I put a picture in here? Let me see. I can add it real quick. And it looks pretty amazing. There's a lot of different setups you can do with this model. And one of them is just a standard troop carrier. You have the medevac or dust off. And I believe you have a weapons platform you can put on there as well.
Yep.
So we shall see. Having trouble loading up, but it's all right. Anyway, so there it is. Okay, I will show it right now. And I'm going to shrink everybody down. There it is, Chris. Watch out. Watch out, Chris. Watch out. I'm going to turn Chris off for a second. Bing. I'm going to turn All right, there's the Huey. Okay. All right. Cool. Hide that. All right. So moving on. Let me bring the chat back up here. Okay. So what besides that, for hobby-wise, I'm also going to be doing a video on paintbrush comparison. I backed a Kickstarter, and let me see if I can bring that Kickstarter up while I'm talking about it, about some Kolinsky Sable brushes. And in that, it was, I think, reasonably priced for what I got. Let me bring it. Oh, come on now.
Are you gonna get some Optimus Prime or whatever they're called?
Oh, the Artist Opus.
Yeah.
Love to get some of those, but they are rather pricey, which is fine.
Well, you need them for comparison, of course.
Right? So let me share my page with you. Share
Don't tell
screen.
Don I said that though.
Right? So Chrome tab, Kickstarter, share. All right. So this is all my back projects, as you can see. So I bought this set right here. The Kolinsky Sable and Wolf Bristle brushes. Okay. And I paid an absorbent amount of money for this, unfortunately. or fortunately. Let me bring up the campaign. So as you see, I did the all-in painting pack. Surprised anyone? Not really. Got the Klinsky sable brush set, a wolf bristle brush set, a handmade dice set, which are pretty cool. They're nothing special. A D&D adventure PDF and STL files and whatever stretch goals. I don't even remember what the stretch. I only wanted the brushes, but anyway, I'll be reviewing those because I have some other Klinsky sable brushes, and we can go from there and see if they're really worth. Basically, it's the old show theme of I spend my money so you don't have to on crap. So we'll say, is it crap or not? So I'll stop sharing that. Be working on that. And then, as well as that, Chris, we have to talk about different item, a project that we'll be working on. And I'll bring it up. Do you see that, Chris?
Yes, I do.
All right. So
excited.
SitRep Podcasts, Other Realms. This will be our secondary channel.
And
And in this channel, we'll be talking about everything outside of historical wargaming. So Lord of the Rings, Dawn is getting back into Malifaux, which is a really great game. Skirmish, steampunky fantasy horror genre. It uses a great card mechanic to cheat fate. So that'll be awesome as well. Let me get rid of that. Go back to the chat here. So news-wise, let me go back to here. Let me bring up our Facebook page because our Facebook media guy does an excellent job of updating our stuff.
Mr. Long.
Mr. Long, the Canadian representation of the podcast.
Hey.
And let me share this screen real quick as we go into the news of what's new in the world of miniature wargaming. All right. So we should all be able to see that. All right. So first things, Knuckle Duster just got done with Little Wars, so they figured out their shipping issue, which is good. Hassle-free minis, I'm not even going to talk about. Anybody who's ever done business with hassle-free minis, they seem to have the worst luck and are always having some health issue or something come up where it stops production or shipment of minis. So just be wary of that. Battle Group Bagrachan, I think that's how you say it, is doing a new book. So if you're into the Eastern Front from 44 or so, you can get a look at that. All right. Anzac Cup's on the way. Well, that's down south for our friends down in the laying down under. Looks like they're gonna have some Heresy, 40K, Flames of War, Infinity, Star Wars. All the typical ones gonna be out there. Chris, speaking of Star Wars, do you see that Shatterpoint stuff? Did you guys get a look at that at Adepticon?
We did. We did not get a chance to do the demo. We wanted to, but tickets went fast and furious.
I bet. They just released the rules.
The minis
as a
look
free
great.
PDF. Uh-huh.
And I think
Are they pre-colored and assembled, or do you have to paint them?
I didn't get that far. We were bugging the people who were helping with the demos.
Yeah.
We were bugging them while they were working. So.
Gotcha. If you're into Blood Red Skies, they now have released a Wing Commander Compendium. Lead Pursuit podcast have coverage of that.
Is that Lead Pursuit or Lead?
Yes. I go with either. It applies both. And then our good old friend, Joseph McCullough, who created Frostgrave, Stargrave, Oathmark, and Silver Bayonet, among others, was at, is today Salute? No, it's Salute's next week. But yeah, if you check out some of those stuff, that's good. Sally Forth is really turning up the terrain. I tell you what. Here, let me look through these. So it just looks like some badgers. Was that burrows and badgers? But look at that terrain.
Very nice.
Really nice table. So let me check.
Marty will be happy with that.
Yep. Dennis says Malifaux is pretty cool. Just get it started. Just started getting all the books for the latest version. Only a few left to grab. That's awesome. Yeah, I noticed they went to faction books and everything instead of an all-in-one. I play the Guild. Dawn is an Arcanist. I love Perdita, Ortega, and Anne. Come on, what's there not to like about a dual pistol wielding chick who can just kick ass? It's pretty cool. All right, moving along. So that's Sally Forth. Sally Forth makes a pretty good terrain. They really stepped up to get. Now our old friends at Black Knight Studio, look at that.
Nice.
So they're coming along with some really nice terrain. I'll
Is
be
that
honest
the-
with you, they've really stepped up and filled the niche
Yeah.
since our friends at Foreground, stopped really producing pre-colored terrain. This Northwood Asylum would be really good for Arkham, for Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that looks really good.
It's already
then
got
our
the
friends at
Asylum
Rubicon.
built in.
What's that?
It's already got the name Asylum in it, so.
Right. And then Rubicon Models does excellent work as always. So we got some German infantry if you're looking to, spruce up some diorama or put some in a vehicle or whatnot. So good on them. And then Zulu Hut. Oh boy. I wonder if these are STL files. I have just finished. So let me see if I can find it while you're looking at that. There's a book that I just finished listening to. I did it as an audiobook. It's not Zorks.
I didn't know you could read.
Right? Let's see here. Excuse me. It was this book. I'm going to share a different page with you guys. So as you can see, I got it as an audiobook. Excellent book. Holy cow, is this book in depth? It is so in depth, it's silly. They literally have an appendium or appendix, and they list every single person who fought at Rorke's Drift, their enlistment date, what unit they went into, if they got any awards, whatnot. I mean, every single one. They literally tell you where they enlisted, at what age, and everything. It is a very in-depth book about Rorke's Drift. The actual battle only covers like a couple chapters in the book, and everything else is all the background, all the research. It's an amazing book. It's a really, they talk about how everybody got their Victoria Cross, where they got it, the politics behind it, everything. It was such a good book. I could not recommend it enough. If you like that period of history and you're really interested in it. If you're looking just for a quick story about Rorke's Drift, this is definitely not the book for you. Incredible book. Incredible book. I think it took them 21 hours to read the book, I think. I listened to it. I can't remember, but it sounds about right. But I actually would like to get the actual paperback. Or hardcover. I might order that just to have a copy. But the audiobook, very well done. A ton of information. All right, let me stop sharing that page, and we'll continue on with the news, and then we'll get on to our other topic here. All right, there we go. So Zulu Huts, that's cool. I'll have to look into that.
Are you gonna
So
end
our
up
friends,
getting the Wolfon?
you know what? I looked at it the other. I'll probably order it this week because I already have Victoria's Cross. I have the game that they made those minis for.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what, Chris? Now that you said, let me bring that for people. Ooh, fun games. Ooh, fun games. All right, let me change over to the other tab because Chris did this, so he's taking me down the rabbit hole. Look at that. Okay, so Fun Games, board games, they make acrylic miniatures, standees. And they actually make now, let me get out of all that crap. So you can see the Napoleonic collection, 7 years Warder Start. They have a fantasy. This is really up Chris's alley because you don't have to do anything. It's not you don't have to assemble anything. Nothing has to be painted. Wild West, Trafalgar, the Civil War. Let me go
The Civil
into.
War we saw at Adepticon, and they were awesome. They were beautiful.
Well, let's look at some Zoas. So let's see. Look at those. I mean, it's cool. I mean, if that's your gig, here's a Confederate cavalry. So yeah, but
The Rourke's Drift is nice because it's got the uh, scenery too.
where
It's under Victoria Cross, I believe.
is it? I don't see it there. American Civil War, Napoleonic. Oh, they don't have it in alphabetical order. Renaissance, Civil War, the War of the Roses. So you can get them for just about any time period. I mean, and it's not terribly expensive. Gallic Wars, Antiquity, Punic Wars. Why is it not showing up? It's weird. All right, we'll just go here. Here it is, right here.
Yeah.
Victoria Cross 2. Look at that. Look at that. Let's see if we can get. So you get the whole buildings scenery. I have the game board because that is the Victoria Cross 2 game board. I have the game. So, I mean, look at that. You got the redoubt and everything. It seems like we get the same picture here. So yeah, if you want to just throw these up, and some of these are, like that's Bromhead or right there, or Shard. That might be Bromhead or Shard. I can't tell which one that's supposed to be, but you've got the commissaries. Those are the guys in the blues right there. You got soldiers. That's probably Color Sergeant Bourne right there, who I still to this day cannot understand why he did not win the Victoria Cross. But I guess they just didn't think he did as amazing job as other guys did. So you get the redoubt, you get the corral, you get the hospital, you get the stores. Just an amazing set to really add some life to the game board of Victoria Cross. That's really cool.
I think
cool.
there's also more information farther down below.
Yeah, there is. So this is what you get. So, this is the Zulu counters, and then this is the diorama miniatures. So, you get cavalry, infantry, which is funny because, well, see, if you see so Pauline and Durnford were not at Rourke's Drift. They were at Islandwana, which is on the other side of this game board.
Yep, and
So you can
it
play
does mention that.
Yeah, you can play the Battle of Islandwana on the backside and play Rourke's Drift on the other side. So that's why I backed Victoria Cross, because the Zulu War, those two battles in particular, have always been of great interest to me. So, all right, let's go back to Facebook, finish up some news here.
But they do tell you, they mentioned in those descriptions that everything you need to play both battles are in the kit.
Exactly. So there's that. Wargaming the Eastern Front. Empress Miniatures always does a fine job. So we're looking at some Vietnam guys, some NVAs. So Empress Miniatures
sharing.
getting into some. I'm not sharing. Oh, sorry guys, my bad. Tuffy Ears is here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tuffy Ears. Marty is out playing pew pews today.
With
all right,
big bang
I'm back
stick.
sharing. So there's some nice Vietnam NVAs, and then 10 millimeter little ninja painting guy. I don't know.
You're still. It might be Freudian, but you're still on Victoria Cross.
Am I?
Yep.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I probably am. Hold on. Well, that's the only thing that really counts in this world. Let me bring Facebook back up. Thought I clicked Facebook. Maybe I did. Okay. So there's a little ninja painting, all that stuff. Okay. Moving on. Special guest, Louis Sungden, Women in Wargaming panel at Salute. Okay. Counterblast from our friend Patrick. So Patrick over at Bombshell Miniatures has his own game called Counterblast. We'll be covering that in our other show. What's that other channel, Chris?
Other Realms.
Other Realms. So we'll be covering that, and we'll hopefully get Patrick on for an interview about not only that game, but his mini season. He does the sculpting for a lot of miniatures. He actually did the sculpting for the Victorious miniature that was the giveaway in this year's Adepticon. That was sculpted by Patrick.
Oh,
He does a lot of sculpting for Reaper miniatures as well. All right, let's
I
check up the
I have to
chat.
go check that out later.
Tough Ears says, I hear. And then Tough Ears asks, has Marty's PC finally done for him? No, he decided he would rather go play with Pew Pews than hang out with us
Well,
cool
big
people.
pew pews today. He's playing
Yeah.
with shotguns.
Yeah.
Actually,
So,
he's got the more dangerous side. He's a safety.
yeah, right. All right. So cigar box battle mats. I had some. Did I give those to you, Chris?
No.
Obviously, I will have to get more. I really torn about this. I'd love to go to Salute, but obviously can't this year. Oh, speaking of things, I guess I should make that announcement. As of right now, it does not look like I will not be able to attend Little Wars because I have to go to. I know it's going to be rough, Chris. I have to go to Orlando for a convention for CEOs and CFOs about healthcare software.
Ooh.
Yeah. So they're paying for our flight to come down, the company and all that, and so I'll have to go to a convention on healthcare software in Orlando, Florida.
Eh, we'll still have more fun.
Yeah, I know. I wish I was going. So as of right now, that was the last meeting we had on Wednesday. Yet I have not seen anything from the guy because he was supposed to send it out, because it's April 30th. So, all right. You crazy Americans and your guns. Shakes head in disbelief. Yeah, I know. All
Well,
right, moving on.
it's also Marty's full-time job. So,
Uh-huh.
for him to be able to continue playing hobbies, he needs to be able to continue making money.
Right.
You know,
Rubicon model shows off an M4 Sherman. That looks pretty nice. I tell you what, Rubicon. So here's my thing about Rubicon models, and we'll talk about this more on Wednesday night. It'll be interesting to get my opinion of whether the Rubicon model is more of a model or a miniature, wargaming piece. Can it hold up to the rigors of wargaming? So we shall see. All right, moving on. Back here. Craft World Studios got some Warhammer dude, it looks like. Gundams. Death Ray Designs has some stuff up for Battletech. We'll be covering that. Vallejo. Gen Con. I'm not sure what things from the basement. For your factory release, you need regular 12-ounce can. Okay, so they got something coming out. Imperial Terrain Group. That's pretty cool looking.
yeah.
Victrix Miniatures, a classic miniature company, has got some Persians. So those people like to paint with color. There you go. Somebody's got some, looks like brass. Miniature War Games magazine. Modifius for Fallout. Some goofy sweatshirt. Charlie Foxtrot models has some new terrain and things. They're a very small company, but they do pretty good. Little Ninja Painting, Blaster. Okay. Firelock Games, Chris.
Yep. Hold on. So I've got that model,
Okay.
and if you want, I can go grab it. But it's beautiful. The detail on it is stunning.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean,
Okay.
I'd go get it and show it to you. Um, you can't see the detail, but it is pretty nice. It's not only is it a third rate model, but it's not the Queen Anne's Revenge. It's one of the other ones. Queen Anne. I think it's just a Queen Anne, but you get a couple cards with it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but again, the detail is incredible. So
Okay.
we had posted, somebody had posted some pictures of one of those models. It might have been that one. They're just how well it's painted, and I told Marty that can't be done. with
Yeah.
human eyes, and he goes, challenge accepted. So we're gonna have Marty painting one of those,
Okay.
and
Cool.
hopefully he won't go blind doing it.
Cool. All right. I think we're gonna close out the news with that. Oh, look at these from Rubicon models. The NVA with a mortar tube and 82 mortar. Just awesome detail on those. Just awesome detail. Battlefront, got a report out Star Trek Adventures, and I think that's pretty much it for today. Pre-League Publishing is again a show topic for another show, but they are publishing a rule set compatible for 5e, not just a dependent, but actual Lord of the Rings in 5e, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Dennis asks, is that in 1/600 scale as in the other Oak and Iron? Yes. Yes, it is. Right, Chris?
Yeah,
1/600 scale.
yeah. And that's why it's so amazing, the detail on that thing.
Yeah. All right. So let us transition. What makes a great war game? So guys in the audience, we really could use your input on this because I have Chris.
Yeah,
You can only get so much of this.
I know. For me, one of the nice things is if there's not a lot of setup,
Uh-huh.
i.e., maybe pre-painted. Because
No,
there's
you know what? I was gonna say there's some value into that what you say, Chris, about pre-paints. Because you get on the table faster, Why do
yeah,
you think X-Wing was so popular or is still so popular?
yeah,
You don't have to paint anything. I know some guys will take them and customize them a little bit, but you can take them right out of the box,
yep,
get them right on the table, and get playing within 30 minutes or so after reviewing the rules. And the
yep,
rules aren't that complicated, really.
right.
So,
Well, even dust.
uh-huh,
Dust were not pre-painted, but they were different colors.
yeah, and they're assembled.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
So
assembled.
so because they're already like a different, all of them were prime different colors. You can actually get in the game and start playing it. And once you find out you like the game, then you'll be motivated to paint them all.
Yeah.
So
Tough Years makes a really good point. Easy to learn rules and nice looking models. Because why do people play miniature games? I'm talking miniature games. Because you want the visual aspect of it, right? Some people
yeah,
like the hobby modeling part of it. Why I like American Civil War or Napoleonics is because I like to see a lot of, colorful models on the table. It just, and it gives you this sense of grandeur, this big
the
sweeping
scale,
battlefield.
the
So,
scale of the battle.
yeah,
But you don't want to have to paint 100,000 guys before you can have a battle.
right. So,
Hence,
hence why you have
wolf
low
hunt.
fun models. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to go that route. Um,
Even for people who already have the models already painted. So our
yeah,
good friend Stephen Fratt, um, he has this gorgeous. You've seen it in a past couple of conventions. That gorgeous Gettysburg Day 2 battle. 16 feet
yeah.
long, and he had all the lead models, and he got rid of them. He went all to the wolf hunt.
Well, for conventions and stuff, I don't think he got rid of them. He probably just
No,
doesn't
he
use
sold
them.
them.
Did he really?
Yeah, he said he had 40,000 uh, minis that he sold for 10 cents a mini, and he took
Good
all that
night.
money and put it into wolf hunt. So he's got everything. He's got the Warwick's Drift. He's got Napoleonics, and you got it all. I think he just told Wolf Hunt, "Hey, send me one of everything."
Crazy. I mean, you think about it, you're doing the grandeur scale is a big thing because you have like Epic, Warlord Games Epic. I'll share their screen here,
Yep.
but you've got this.
Yeah,
So,
and that's a
if you,
100,000 people you got to paint.
but I mean, there are options. So Chris, for you, what makes a great war game is pre-assembled, pre-painted.
Yeah, oh, that's part of it. It's mostly it's whatever it'll take to get people to come together and play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, I don't want to put a lot of time into some obscure game that we may only play once,
Yeah.
right? But if we're gonna play it multiple times, then I'll put the time into painting it.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, I'm taking the time to paint those. I have the Civil War, and I've
Mhm.
got maybe one regiment painted,
Yeah.
and then I went blind. Now I'm in trifocals,
So we may definitely look at the WoW fund for that. But
right?
yeah, for me, what makes a great war game is that the rules make sense.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because there are some rules out there that go like, you do this, then that you got to do this, or we've talked about this to ad nauseum, and that's ranges, weapon ranges. You
Yep.
know, modern battlefield. Even let's go to World War II. Your M1 Garand cannot shoot scale over 100 feet. Because it's what 12 inches or something. And Dennis, help me on this one. Warlord. I can't remember what the rule is for a rifle, but it's sometimes it seems like it limits it. I know why it does it for playability and scale and all that. You want there to be some tactical thought into it. Whereas some other games, such as Skirmish, Sangan, Spectre, there really aren't ranges per se. It's almost a tabletop because of the scale. 28 millimeter. Um,
Well, they're trying to
I'm
get
not.
the whether it's easier enough to hit versus
Mhm,
if you can wound.
yeah. Now,
So
why is bolt action so successful? Reason one, it's easy to understand how to play the game. Everybody starts with a base of 3, and then you add or subtract modifiers accordingly for, firing and all that stuff. So once you know how maneuver works and you know how combat works, and it's a lower model count, theoretically speaking. Um, to me, I compare it to almost like a version. It's a historical version of Warhammer in some ways. Um, The models look good. They're not terribly expensive compared to some other companies, and the rules themselves play well, and that's why it's been very successful. I think a good rule set makes a game. You could have the most gorgeous looking models that are pre-painted, and think about that's another thing. Pre-painted models. I have seen some pre-painted models that you're like, my 12-year-old kid could have done a better job. Um, And then I've seen some really good pre-painted models. Think about Dust Premiums. Those
yeah,
were actually really well painted.
yeah.
Um, so
But
one
for
of the
that cost,
worst
you can
painted,
almost just get your other stuff commissioned.
yeah. Some of the other unbelievably terrible pre-paints. There was a game, and Dawn shudders every time I mention the name Gollum Arcana. It was a game that debuted at Gen Con years ago when we were covering Gen Con, and boy, tell you what, the guy who we interviewed sold me hook, line, and sinker on that game. I was like, oh my God, this is an amazing game. It used a stylus, and they had an app, and you could figure out your combat move. It, After we got the game home and played it a few times, we both looked at each other and go, this is the dumbest game in the world. You don't need the game to play the game. You could just play it on the app, right? And the models were ridiculously expensive. The pre-colors were not good. So yeah, we played it like 2 or 3 times. We put it back in the box and never left the box until we got rid of it to somebody. I don't even know who we gave it to.
Which one?
Um, Gollum Arcana.
Okay. I don't
So
know if I ended up with that one.
no, I don't think I tortured you with that. Um,
You would have
yeah,
if you had thought about it, but
yeah. So I mean, Dawn is probably the nicest person you'll meet and doesn't really have a mean bone in her body, but she will have some not nice things to say about that game. Um, but anyway, so what makes a great war game is obviously you have to start with the rules. Two is availability of the game, you know? Nothing like getting a good rule set. You're excited to play it. You get maybe a couple starter sets or starter armies, and then you can't find or get your hands on anything else. Yes, you can proxy models, but depending on the game, are they calling for unique things? And go from there. Thank you. We got a little shout out from Beaver Boy. We appreciate it. So, what do you guys think at home? What drags you into what is your favorite war game and why? What is your favorite war game and why? So that's a tough question because I could ask Chris, what's your favorite war game?
Well, I could tell you. I just grabbed the book. But you've heard me talk about Steve Fratt, Small Deadly Space.
Yeah.
He is constantly tweaking the rules and making it better. I mean, everything's about playability. It is stupid simple once you get through it.
Uh-huh.
He showed me how to play one round, and at that point it was you were ready to go to town. He made it stupid simple because he was using it to teach his military history classes,
Sure.
and he had to be able to have a game that he could show the rules. He said
Mm-hmm.
20 minutes. I show him get him going through the rules, and then I just sit back and watch the carnage, which that is a mark of a good game when you could just do that.
Right.
And you know, other than that, it's something that you could see and you actually get the sense and the scale of that one. What is the challenge about that one for me is I'm used to skirmish games, you know,
Mhm.
and that is not a skirmish game.
No, not by any means.
No,
By
but
any means.
once you guys come up next time you guys come up here, um, we've been invited over to his place, and we'll put on some good battles, and
Cool.
we can
Sounds
either
good.
do Gettysburg, or he's got Works Drift and his own rule set. So
Nice. That's awesome. So, for me, the best war game is the one I haven't played yet. Truly.
come on.
No, it truly is.
Okay,
Because
maybe of the ones you've played,
okay.
I'm putting you on the spot here. Of the ones that you have played,
Uh-huh. So of the ones I've played, I don't know the name of the rules. I'll be honest with you. I do not know the name of the rules. But Chris, I don't remember if you were around or saw when we were in high school, when my dad and my Uncle Bob had the big battles of the Civil War in the basement where we had hundreds of metal minis on the basement floor doing battles.
nope,
Um,
I was probably grounded.
probably were. Um, but we cast all those minis ourselves and painted them. But I can't remember what the rule set was, but it was, I don't know if it was so much, okay, let me rephrase that. I don't know if so much of it was the rule set or the experience of being able to play that kind of a game with my dad and my uncle, to be included in their gaming group. Because, they were pretty heavy war gamers in the day. A lot of it was Avalon Hill stuff. They did a lot of Panzer Leader, Panzer Blitz, and that kind of stuff. Um, but we got included once in a while, and so that as a miniatures war game was always amazing. Or
Yeah,
we
well,
played
you're
Circus Maximus and Avalon Hill Circus Maximus, which is such a fun group game. There's nothing better than racing chariots around the Circus Maximus and running people over or smashing other chariots and killing people or dragging them with horses. It's such a great time. Great time. Dawn loves that game. So,
nice.
um,
And your dad was a big war gamer because he was also a CW5 flying Hueys
well,
for the SF guys.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah. But to answer your question, to be fair, games I currently play, um, I mean, I guess I could say Dust because it made sense. It was easy to play. Um, and you could play it both ways. You could play grid or you could play free. But, since it's not in production anymore, and I gave all my Dust stuff away, um, Rorke's Drift,
Yeah,
you know. Um, I want to
that was a
readdress.
shock.
Really?
Yeah,
Because we've played the rule set we played, which was the Men Who Would Be Kings, right?
yeah,
That was the rule set we used.
yep,
And then Jerry has a rule set, Jerry from Peace of War on tabletop. When we went to Ireland and played Rorke's Drift there, see, I will go anywhere in the world to play Rorke's Drift. Just saying. Um, we used his own homebrew set of rules based on another. I don't remember who it was based on, but and it was a card mechanic for activation, kind of like we did, Chris. It was kind of a hybrid, but it played really well. I honestly, Chris, I want to create our own rule set because I don't feel the Men Who Would Be Kings addressed the feel of the Zulus as truly as it happened. Because
right.
look at, I mean, how many times did we knock back your whole MP,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I got
Um,
one or two guys killed, and then
well,
the other 1,000 of them go, "Hey, whoa, hey, let's
yeah.
back up." What do you mean?
But to be fair, in some ways that was actually accurate based upon the book I showed you all earlier, Rourke's
Hmm.
Drift. He explains in great detail the attacks and how the Zulu would, like in the movie, you see them at the beginning, they rush up, they drop, that they shoot, and they were doing these probing, and the defenders were like, why aren't they attacking? That was truly to feel out um, their firepower, and then they would rush. They lose some guys, they'd fall back because was it worth the attack? So there was some accuracy there, but I still don't feel we truly
Right,
represented the Zulu MP attacks as well as we could have. So
right.
I would like to explore that
Well,
as
and
well.
the thing is, it would have made sense if we tried those tactics and got the same thing.
Yeah,
If we were only attacking from one side or this side or that side. But Marty and I, like, damn the casualties. We're taking this. We
yeah,
don't care if we lose everyone. We're taking it.
yeah,
And so we put all 4,000 people on you at one time,
yeah.
and
So,
we killed what, two of yours?
no, you took out a whole
Oh, that's right.
section.
But
Lieutenant Arndorf, which I have learned may or may not have done very well. Hi, Ma. At Rourke's Drift. So there's question about how heroic he was at Rourke's Drift. There's a question if he was actually even in the battle. Some people think he actually ran when some of the other people ran after, because he came from Islandwana. At that, when they were getting wiped out, he actually escaped with his sergeant and came to Rourke's Drift to warn them. But if you read Shard's letters, which are in there, he does an after action report to the Queen and does it again a few years later because the Queen Victoria asked him to recount the battle. So in his letters, he says Lieutenant Arendorf did an outstanding job of helping to protect the drift. But then there's others that question that accuracy. So it's very interesting. Um,
yeah,
but
and Steve Fratt,
go
I was
ahead.
talking to him about it,
Uh-huh.
and I was talking about some of the things I didn't like about the rule set that we played, and he's like, "Well, yeah, it was it's more realistic because what you saw, what you don't see is where the melee bags were. That was 9 feet up because of the step they put the melee bags right in. So these guys actually had to climb up nine
Yeah.
feet,
Yeah.
and then they were easily shot. It wasn't
Yeah.
just a small level of melee bags like we had in our game.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot more realistic, and it was a lot harder to actually get up to that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Well,
that
the one
makes
wall
sense.
we had right on the ravine edge,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's totally right. Totally right.
Yeah.
Tuffy Ears, what game are you going to be playing? He says in 2 weeks' time you get to play your first game since lockdown. What will you be playing? So getting back to other things, another great rule set, and I have not had a chance to play a ton of it, is Battle Group. Jim does a really great job of highlighting Battle Group, for World War II. Oh, Tuffy Ears is going 40K. At Warhammer World. Outstanding. So I have to get Chris and Marty to come over to Europe. Like that'll ever happen.
Hey,
We can go.
I'll be there. You let me know
You think
when.
Donna's gonna let Marty go to Europe? Come
No, I said I'll be there.
on. And we should go play Lord of the Rings at Warhammer World.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now,
Yeah.
if you want to do some traveling, let's go play Rourke's Drift at
Rourke's Drift?
Rourke's Drift. Yeah.
That would be so freaking cool. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be really cool. Never been to South Africa. I'd love to go. But yeah, that would be freaking cool. I think that would be like the pinnacle of my wargaming career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Tuffy Ears, hey, Rasmus is in house. Good morning, sir. We're just talking about the best war games out there, or what makes a great war game. Rasmus, what is your favorite rule set or game? Tuffy Ears, what faction do you play in 40K? And is it something that we should look at? We will. We'll cover it on the other channel, if you haven't heard, called The Other Realms. So that will cover everything sci-fi, fantasy, weird, and whatnot.
Yep.
Anything that's not historical.
We'll definitely have content for Age of Sigmar.
Right? Oh, Steve Herner, right? He
Yeah.
said he wants to be part of the project.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get him to do some painting vids. Man is insane.
Yeah, and insane is the word.
Tuffy Ears is playing squats. Chris, do you know what squats are?
Nope.
They're space dwarves.
Ah, okay.
I am a Tau person myself with Groots. So. Oh, mother!
I'm a space wolves type of guy.
Uh-huh. So. Oh, yeah, I just like the stompy robots. I think they're pretty cool.
I like
looking.
wolves.
So, Rasmus says, at the moment, I would go Blood and Plunder or my old favorite, Drop Zone Commander. That's how we met Rasmus years ago, originally, Dawn and I, at Salute. We had he was there for Salute when he was living over in England, and he was at a backstage meetup. Ooh, that was our good times. Good times. The stories I could tell you would make your hair curl. Yeah, good times. And he plays Infinity and Drop Zone. Drop Zone Commander, Chris, if you've never played it, it's a really good game. It actually is. It's 10 mil space game or planet assault game. It's really good. You have Drop Fleet, which is the space, and you have Drop Zone, which is space coming onto planets to, fight them out. It's actually a really good game. Our friend Dave, who actually created the game, sold it to, who did he sell it to? Rasmus, help me out here. Poor old Dave. That was such a good game. It really was. Still is, but I don't know if he's even involved anymore. But it's good stuff. Let's see. Rasmus says, my liver might have started to recover after those meetups. True. True. And then TT Combat. Thank you, sir. Yeah, good stuff.
Now we're
Tough Ear says
stealing too much
What?
content from Dawn's channel.
No, we're not. We aren't
Okay.
stealing anything. We're just talking about games at this point.
All right.
We're whetting the appetite, shall we say?
All right. So I have to ask, how is Star Wars or Star Trek? Sorry, how is Star Trek game?
I haven't played it yet. I've been reading the stuff. Dude, I have been so busy. It's not funny. I had to travel 3 hours each way to go to another hospital on Wednesday to do some meetings. So, I mean, it's been crazy busy. So,
You were running
yeah.
from the emus, weren't you?
The emus. No,
One
that's
guy.
in Australia.
No. There was one that got loose in Tennessee, and it led the police on a 30-minute chase
Oh, did it really? And where was that at? I didn't
over
hear
by
about that.
over by Knoxville.
Oh, gotcha.
I saw emus running loose in Tennessee. I'm like, oh, Bill.
Mm. Dennis says he has the Imperial Fists, the Imperial Knights, and Mechanicus. I think the Imperial Fists and Imperial Knights are Space Marine type guys, right? And Mechanicus, I don't know who that was. I'm assuming the robot stompy kind of guys or androids or something like that. I'm not a big 40K. My brother is a huge 40K player.
Yeah.
Huge.
Are you going to get him in the other channel?
I would like to if he's willing. I mean, why not? Everybody's got their specialty. So,
Mine is avoiding painting.
Yeah, but you went to all those classes.
No, I actually I enjoyed it. That was
Buy a mug. Buy
was
merch.
yep. That
Go
was a
ahead, Chris.
first
I'm
for
sorry.
me. I actually enjoyed the hours that I spent painting.
You can
Very
get
nice.
yourself a new Sit Rep podcast mug, full color, or you can get the Sit Rep podcast T-shirt. Anyway, moving on. See,
DZC.
chats. What Star Trek game you got for Sit Rep 6? Oh, it's the RPG game.
Modifius,
Rasmus
right?
says, I could see you using Drop Zone Commander for a modern game using helicopters for insertion into the building. That's actually a great idea, Rasmus. Converting the rules for Drop Zone Commander to play in historical moderns. You could easily do it because it has tanks, it has aircraft, it has infantry. So it would just be a matter of conversion. That might be a good thing to explore. Damn it, that means I gotta go buy a Drop Zone Commander rule book. Well, all the ones I had were the old ones. I mean, I got mine from the Kickstarter. Remember the Kickstarter, Erasmus, where you got a ton of stuff for Drop Fleet? So, yeah.
Yes, tough ears. The coffee mugs do make your coffee taste better.
That's true. That's true.
It'd be nice if they were more, like gigantic. But
Speaking of gigantic, I'm gonna go totally off the rails because Chris did it. Dawn and I have found a Mexican restaurant down here. It's literally like a mile and a half from our house down here in Tennessee. I shit you not. Excuse my language. They have the super tall mugs. I got a mug of Dos Equis, $4.95.
very nice.
So I had the super tall mug of Dos Equis. Dawn had 2 margaritas. We had fajitas for 2 plus dessert, $45.
And an Uber.
Wait a minute, you got the board cube? Tough years. Putting you on the list. They didn't have any. When Chris and Marty picked up this set for me from Adepticon, they did not have any of the board cube left. So I missed out. I should have gotten it years ago, and I just I was like, do I really need one more RPG?
But somebody at Modifius.
I do. I know 2 people at Modifius. I know Chris, the owner of Modifius, and I know Greg.
Yeah.
So, and Alicia, she was there, right?
Yeah, she was.
Well,
I didn't know if she was employed by them or was she just.
I'm not sure. She may have just been there helping out. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to him in a while. I'll have to reach out to him.
Yeah.
Oh yes, get 50% of the Kickstarter painted 10 years later. True. There was a ton of stuff in that Kickstarter. Unfortunately, I think that was Dave's undoing. that Kickstarter. It seems to be the common theme. You know, you get these Kickstarters from these very small companies, and wait a minute, how is that possible? Puppy ears. You're talking about the Board Cube edition. She got #1. What the hey? So, but getting back to the historical side, we're gonna have to really start getting done up and going for our other service here.
Yeah.
If you
So
guys
it's
don't
gonna-
know, I'll only show it one more time. The Sit Rep podcast, Other Realms. Dawn will actually be on the podcast for that because we will have a podcast and plus other content. Jim is going to be handling the historical side with some help from us. But where do we find Sit Rep merch these days? Well, my friend, let me bring that up for you.
And importantly, where do we find Other Realms merch these days?
I haven't gotten that far yet. Good God.
You act like you have a job.
I do. I so do.
You need a real self-driving car so you can work on the way to and from. I mean, do this stuff on
Yeah.
the way to and from.
You know what? That's a good question. Where can we get merch these days? Do I have it here? I don't think I do.
Buy
Well,
merch.
because I have so many.
We don't know where, but buy
Oh,
merch.
right? I'm trying to think. Is it Teespring? Oh, damn it. You know, when we had the website up, you could just link right into the website. I feel stupid right now. That is crazy. Okay, hold on. I will get it.
So
it's not
Tough Ears
Teespring.
didn't get the first one, but she got one of the ones from the first run.
Gotcha. Sit. Shopify? Was it? Oh no, here it is. Huh? I feel like an idiot. All right. Here it is. Paste. There you go. Sit Rep Podcast Supply Room. You can get t-shirts. Here, I'll even show you the page, just so you know it's real. Share. So you can get t-shirts to mugs with our custom logo for Wargamers wear. The t-shirt, which has the Sit Rep Podcast on one side. You can get the classic t-shirt, the classic mug. You can get the Sit Rep tumbler or glass. You can get the famous The Long Story Short pint glass, the tumbler, full color. There you go. Perfect.
You
Stuff
still
here.
need the shot glasses.
I know. I know. Still using the Sit Rep Stein often for coffee while at work. Oh yeah, the classic Stein. We might have to bring those back.
Yeah, because
When
too many
does the new
people
channel
think these
start?
little coffee cups are coffee cups. No.
You know, this, and especially with my new coffee machine that actually makes everything. Grinds the beans, presses the beans, steeps it. It makes lattes, cappuccinos, macchiatos, coffee, cafe au lait, So, all right. Answering some other questions. When does the new channel start? Soon, I hope, is the
Yes,
best question.
but he has been saying soon for a while.
I've been a little busy.
I'm just saying. Am I wrong though? Am I wrong saying that you've been promising this,
No.
teasing
Tough
us
ears. Thanks,
for a
tough
while?
ears. I appreciate your support.
Very good. Very nice.
Oh boy. Anyway,
Marty will
all right.
appreciate that.
Yeah. So guys, it's been grand hanging out with you. We're gonna close up the show as we come up to our 1 hour mark. Tough ears, I promise I will get something out announcing the new show. I'm hoping for a June 1 start. June 1. I need coffee flavored coffee by the bucket. Sounds like Marty.
Yep.
Rasmus and Marty So
Yeah, he has
yeah,
account.
I'm hoping for a June 1st start on that. I want to get all the graphics, everything done. I want to get a couple programs in the can before we even start, so we're not playing the game of catch up. So we'll go from there. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining Chris and I for the Sit Rep podcast. I hope it's been an enlightening Saturday morning or afternoon, depending on where in the world you are. We do appreciate your support. We appreciate you following along with us. We, of course, always appreciate your participation in the conversation.
Most of the
And
time. Yep.
most
No,
of
just
the time.
kidding.
Until we see you next time, for
Yeah.
Chris, this is Bill. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Big Duke 6 Eagle thrust. Put on side war op. Sing it loud. Into the Romeo Foxtrot. Shall we dance?
You are listening to the Sitrep podcast, your source for everything related to historical wargaming. Whether you are looking for the latest wargaming news, reviews, painting tutorials, or playthroughs, you will hear about it right here. So grab your favorite beverage or brush and let's hit it.